Elon Musk is saying that in 5 years, language will be unnecessary.
Okay, hold on.
Because of his technology, Neuralink.
About 5 to 10 years, they're going to be really putting them in people and jazzing it up, sparking up the power.
Mac, putting what in people, Mac?
This is a little chip, and they drill out a hole in the back of your head,
Jesus.
and they use a robot to
This is the most Black Mirror shit I've ever heard.
Connect the wires to your neurons.
This is great. This is fucked up.
And they're going to start with brain injury patients, and they're going to try to rehabilitate them to 100%. Eventually, they'll evolve and evolve and evolve to the point where we'll be communicating without speaking. There will be no need for language. We'll just be connected at the brain. There will be no translation of thought to word, because that means that my thought has to be condensed so that you can digest my thought, and there's information lost in the.
I cannot wait to see this backfire. I'm so sorry, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
As Donald Trump sits across from fucking Kim Jong-un, who's still alive, and Donald Trump thinks, I would really like to beat the fuck, like, bro, are you me as I'm scrolling my Instagram and my girl's across the way Neuralink to me and I see a hot chick pass by and she just hears, I'd love to bury my dick in that fucking. Are you fucking kidding
I don't think
me,
you can
bro?
read your mind.
Oh yeah,
That's what Mac's saying.
Come on,
and by
guys.
the way,
there's got to be a ping and a pong, but you know.
I have to say this. My mind obviously would never think that. That was a fabricated situation. If I scroll past a chick on Instagram, my first thought is neutral feelings of nothingness. That is the only thing I feel when I see a girl on Instagram now. Neutral. It's like a yellow light between red and green. It doesn't change. It's always yellow. It's like have no feeling.
Yep.
Just so certain people who see this episode know what I'm saying right now.
She follows you everywhere. I caught her again sitting on the couch this morning and said, hey, Mar, what are you doing? She goes, waiting for Mac to finish poopies. And also, why do you poop in the bathroom next to the front door?
I went to the back one and there was Mac, but Mexican in the back room.
A Mexican Mac?
Was that you speaking to me in a Mexican accent? Or was that you? That was you?
No.
It's a classic case.
Who was in the bathroom?
I don't know. Anyways, I had to move to
We got a Mexican
I had to
ghost
move
in
to the
house.
front door
Okay.
and poop there.
He's a cowboy. But yeah, so Elon Musk, I mean, what's good? I want to volunteer as a test trial.
You'd be good.
I also want him to send me to Mars. I don't know if this helps. Like, I've suffered severe brain injury. I have a skull fracture, 7 millimeters, dent in my head, and a metal plate the size of a quarter. It's titanium and sitting right here. Every girl that I've ever dated in the past, to impress them, I'm like, you want to feel the screws? And I take their finger and they go, ew, every time.
Have you ever heard my theory that actually made you smarter? That brain injury?
Love to hear this.
All right, hear me out. So what I think might have happened during Logan Paul's adolescent years, when he absolutely bashed his face into a trampoline. So he fractured his skull, and then all of a sudden, this hematoma formed in his face, mostly in his frontal lobe.
Do you remember that? Do you remember coming over to my house and I was just looking like an ogre?
Dude, I was on my trampoline, get off my trampoline, walk inside, get a phone call from Pam crying, Logan broke his face. I saw the helicopter fly over.
You did?
But yeah. And I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, I got life flighted out that bitch.
But yeah, man, I'm wondering if the massive increase of blood flow to your prefrontal cortex and the surrounding areas somehow helped your brain grow in a different way that made you somehow able to handle information better or do something better than other people.
What if it made me dumber? Can you imagine?
I mean, dude, you were a dumbass before this.
I was 12, Mac. I was 13 years old.
Dude, my dad did not like you at all.
Bro, me and your dad when I was younger, we would go back and forth. He would tell me how not funny I was.
Yeah.
Did your dad and GP get along?
I don't
GP didn't get along with anyone.
My dad, it'd be very hard to not
check
get along
us out.
with my dad.
Bro, I've actually never showed these.
Wow.
You have a spotlight in the middle of your brain.
This is my skull. That is a 7 millimeter, almost a centimeter. Oh, sorry. Yeah, almost a centimeter. Skull fracture. Like, my brain almost got fucked.
You caved your own skull in. Who's that dog?
That's
Who is
DOG. DOG, rest in peace.
He's an awesome man.
That's our dog, DOG. DOG spells dog, so we named him DOG. But yeah, I was fucked up.
Did you make the DOG name decision prior or after the skull fracture?
That was Greg's.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Zoom in. I don't know if you can see this. Can you still see the
It's up.
running down the side of my head? A scar running from the top of my head to below my ear, where they got the plate in.
Did they open you up?
Oh yeah. Impulsive moment. I'm gonna talk about something completely different that we probably should have hit earlier. Sort of dealing with Neuralink and how I get anxiety about certain things and like these like macro ideas of like what are we really doing on this rock? Like what are we really doing here? And we were flying the drone, getting the one shot for the commercial over the weekend, and Ari is flying it manually. Now, if you've ever flown a drone, you have to fly the drone, point the camera, make sure it's smooth, make sure you don't hit any obstacles. And it's hard. And I'm watching him do this, follow me going 30 miles an hour on a dirt bike. And I'm like, in my head, I go, okay, this is cool. We like, 10 years ago, there's no such thing as drone shots and there was no aerial coverage of anything on YouTube. Now we can do it. But also, this is stupid. This is so rudimentary. How he can barely follow me on this dirt bike. And I picture my kids and me having to talk to them about the technology we use to capture and interact. And I'm like, hey, we had to go on our phones and fly the drone and point at what you were shooting. And they're gonna go, wait, you had to touch your phone to use it? Yep. You had to wait, like make contact with your phone to make an action occur.
It took you 30 seconds to download an app.
What's your problem, Dad?
I'll go, wait, what? What about my parents who didn't even have a phone?
Dude,
and then you made a comment, bro. They're not even gonna say that. They're gonna say, wait a second, your phone wasn't in your brain.
And they won't even be saying that. They'll just be beaming it to your head.
Exactly. Just like staring at you and you're just interacting with your kids at dinner. A silent dinner. You, your wife, and your two kids just all looking at each other.
But
communicating.
you're also all having conversations at the same time. You're having a simultaneous conversation with your wife, your daughter, your son,
keep in mind,
and the dog, because we figured out how to do it to dogs too. And now we can talk to dogs because of Neuralink.
But keep in mind, you're at this silent dinner. Everyone has their Neuralink in. Everyone's looking at each other. No one's having conversation because everyone's watching a YouTube video in their brain. The kids are watching a YouTube video. The dad's reading the New York Times. The mom is reading a sex novel. Yeah. So now we don't even need to hold our phones in front of our face to ignore the fuck out of each other.
Wow.
We just can see how we ignore everyone consciously ignoring. This is the beginning of conscious ignorance. Wow. The Neuralink will be the first step in conscious ignorance. You can now ignore anyone without covering your eyes, your ears, nothing. You just simply flip a switch when some dumbass is talking to you at the bar and you're watching your favorite show, David Dobrik vlog channel, which is my favorite.
Until he starts actually just talking to you, because we're still humans and we can still talk.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Try talking to me while I have Neuralink's new conscious ignorance system in play.
Just noise canceling in your brain.
Sorry, were you saying something? I was just watching a video about Fiji in my brain.
Oh. But this gives me anxiety.
Why?
Because
it's a lot of change.
I mean, shit.
Completely agree with that last statement.
There's a lot of change, man. And, that's what the whole world is built around. The only thing that's constant is change.